Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Langer at the Mic. This Cowboys victory episode post-game show of this Langer at the Mic. I really butchered that. But yeah, the Cowboys didn't butcher it tonight. They almost did this afternoon. Cowboys beating the Giants 44-20. But, okay, it's a win. It counts. It's huge. And I'm going to end with that. But let's be real here that this win, the Cowboys dominated as they have the last 3 weeks in the second half. It was 17-10 at halftime. So the Cowboys put up 24 points, whatever the math is on that. They put up over 20 points in the second half and intercepted Mike Glennon twice. But let's be real. I don't often feel bad about who the Cowboys play, especially if it's the Eagles, Giants, or Washington football team. But in this case, I kind of feel bad for the Giants. Not going to lie. Daniel Jones, as much as I criticize them. And by the way, I predicted Cowboys would win 37-20. Cowboys win 47-20. If it wasn't for 44-20, if it wasn't for that pick six by Anthony Brown at the end of the game, he played okay-ish. Secondary gave up a lot of points, but Trayvon Diggs had his sixth interception in 5 games. So a lot of positives in this game. But first and foremost, as critical as I am of Daniel Jones and his inability to be consistent and protect the football, even though he had a really good game against the Saints last week, it hurts to see him get concussed like that. Jabril Cox made a great play, and arguably it was a head-to-head contact, but Daniel Jones kind of led with his head there. But either way, he's just trying to score a touchdown. Jabril Cox is just trying to stop him, which he did. But Daniel Jones took the worst of that hit, and he got concussed, and it was just really scary to see him in the same position or same state that Patrick Mahomes was in the divisional round against the Browns. And obviously before that, Kenny Golladay, knee injury, and then before that, Saquon Barkley rolling his ankle on Jordan Lewis after Daniel Jones threw a ball that was a mile over Saquon Barkley's head. But yeah, honestly, I can't help but feel bad for the Giants and the injuries that they had to deal with, especially since today is 364 days since QB1 had his ankle rolled by Logan Ryan. And we all know what happened and what Dak has had to overcome to get to where the level he's at right now, throwing for over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. So given all that, I usually don't feel bad for who the Cowboys play against, especially if it's an NFC East opponent. But given that it was Daniel Jones getting hit the way he did, given that was Saquon Barkley getting injured for the second time in 2 years, another brutal injury. I was surprised that he got off on his own power at first, but then his ankle obviously swelled up like a balloon. Then he got carted off the field. So obviously my prayers and heart goes out to Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley, and everyone else that is injured, that is hurting on the Giants sideline. But now let's talk about the Cowboys, of course, because this is a Cowboys post-game show on a Cowboys channel. This game was like in the first half, being up 17-10. If the Giants aren't a bad football team, the Cowboys are in trouble in the first half. They've been running the ball at will. And kudos to Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard. Ezekiel Elliott, who got shaken up on a play landing on the pylon at one point in the third quarter. But to me, this is a matter of just the Cowboys got off to a slow start, and they got lucky because they just couldn't they got lucky because with the interception, it was a great play by Lorenzo Carter. Don't get me wrong. Great play by Lorenzo Carter. Just trying to find the freaking stats of the game here. I usually have that on my phone, but that's being used as my webcam right now. But either way, yeah. So it was the interception, great play by Lorenzo Carter. But here's a bug of that with that is why. Okay, you run the ball in second and long, but why are you like it was territory and great decision to go for it on fourth down? But why are you relying on the fact that you're trying to go for it on fourth down? Why does it have to be fourth down in the first place? Just be a little bit more aggressive on second down, 2nd and 10, instead of calling a run play, even though the Giants have been stopping it. Be a little bit more aggressive on 2nd and 3rd down and don't have to rely on a fourth down pass to get you out of that situation. And then obviously there was the play. I mean, the Cowboys, they stopped the Giants and did not allow them to get more than a 54-yard field goal attempt, and which Graham Gano missed it. But then the Cowboys, they stall in the red zone, pass that goes right through Dalton Schultz's hands, who played a great game overall and has been off to a great start this season. But he's had moments this year where his hands, dropping balls, putting the ball on the ground, it's concerning. It's been concerning, but overall he came back and had a great game. But for the moments that he's been dropping them or putting the ball on the ground, it's been concerning for Dalton Schultz. And then the next series, the next time the Cowboys have the ball, Dak mishandled snap from Tyler Biadasz. It wasn't the perfect snap, but it was one that Dak arguably should have handled. And that's another thing. Tyler Biadasz, not great at center. He's been struggling at center, plain and simple. If the one thing that might be stopping Connor Williams or Connor McGovern from playing center is their ability to snap the football. But if Tyler Biadasz isn't snapping the football well, you have a problem. So early on, things were iffy. Things were concerning. It was only 3-0 after the first quarter, but then Dak threw an absolute dime to CeeDee Lamb for a 49-touchdown pass. I want to say 49-yard touchdown pass, a beauty to CeeDee Lamb, and he just absolutely burned James Bradbury. But then the Giants started coming back a little bit, and that's where you had they had a 51-yarder from Graham Gano to make it 10-7. Oh, sorry, 10-3. And then the Devontae Booker run. Devin Booker, nice. He's a shooting guard in the NBA. Devin Booker sneaks it when Fox had not cut back from commercial yet, but before that was the play where the Cowboys made a stop on the goal line. So at this point, you're just missed opportunities allowed for the Giants to hang around in this game early. And then obviously the Cowboys ended the half by Dak throwing a 24-yard strike to Amari Cooper, who just made Darius Williams, rookie Darius Williams just completely embarrassed him. Or Rodarius Williams, excuse me. Just completely gained the inside leverage on Williams, and beautiful catch by Amari Cooper. And the Cowboys were up at the half, but again, Giants in the third quarter made it 17-13. So if the Cowboys didn't drive the ball as well as they did for the rest, they poured on for the rest of the game. But at that point, the Giants, it took until the third quarter, kind of like last week against the Panthers. It took until the third quarter to finally just step on the Giants' throats and just put the game away. And again, honestly, that's all the bad things I'm going to say for now, at least. Full credit for the Cowboys for putting the Giants away, with Ezekiel Elliott, who had on average, pulling it up over here, 5.2 yards per carry. Tony Pollard, even garbage time, had 5.4 yards per carry. Zeke had 110 yards in total with the touchdown running, and then he also had the touchdown receiving after banging up his back after falling on the pylon. But so that's one of many great things the Cowboys did overall in this game, is running the football. They even had Cedric Wilson attempt a pass and complete a 22-yard pass to Noah Brown, which should have been a home run ball to CeeDee Lamb or Noah Brown, who had plenty of grass in front of him, but still Kellen Moore. And then also there was the run, it was the touchdown pass to Zeke, where Kellen Moore, who up until, again, in the first quarter, I did not like the way that Kellen Moore called the game. Sure, running the ball, sure, averaging high yards per carry, but not converting crucial third downs and not putting the ball in the end zone until the second quarter. But again, with Zeke, that I right away, I saw Zeke in the backfield, Pollard motioning in. I thought it was going to be a jet sweep to Pollard, but then it was a play action to Zeke, who goes out in the flat and gets completely ignored. And then Dak is just looking to his left, but at the last minute, when he sees the Giants rushers coming in, dumps it off to Zeke, high steps into the end zone, and that put the Cowboys up. What was it at that point? 17, I believe 24-13, I want to say. So, and if you look at the receiving, so Dak didn't play, like, to be honest, Dak didn't play a great game until the second half. Just like the entire offense, pretty much, or until, let's say, the second quarter. But what I love about what Dak did today, and obviously, again, it's been a year since tomorrow will be a year since Dak broke his ankle against the Giants in Week 5. But he had over 300 yards passing, 302 yards passing, 3 touchdowns to 1 interception to Lorenzo Carter. Took 2 sacks, but not a single receiver had over 100 yards today. Because you talk about what's the identity of the Cowboys offense. A lot of people are questioning, do they run the ball well? Do they pass the ball well? What's the identity of the Cowboys offense? Well, they do everything well. And the word to describe that is balance. Because, again, Dak over 300 yards passing, 84 yards receiving by CeeDee Lamb on 4 receptions, 6 receptions by Dalton Schultz for 79 yards, 3 receptions by Amari Cooper for 60 yards, 3 by Noah Brown for 36, 1 for Cedric Wilson for 35, which was a beauty down the left sideline. Perfectly thrown ball by Dak, just like on the touchdown to CeeDee Lamb. Tony Pollard, 4 receptions, 28. Zeke Elliott, 2 receptions for 2. So, balance, and then balanced rushing attack. Even Dak had a scamper for a first down. Zeke 21 for 110, Tony Pollard 14 for 75 on the ground. And then the defense. Trevon Diggs, 6 interceptions through 5 games. Another one. And he had 2 others that he could have had in the first half when Daniel Jones was still in the game, by the way, because of the way he was covering Kenny Golladay. Now, I feel like Trevon Diggs, Kadarius Toney, by the way, lit up the Cowboys. Like, Kadarius Toney, before he punched DeMonte KZ in the face, had 10 receptions for 189 yards. So going forward, that's going to be a concern for the Cowboys in the division. So, but going back to Trevon Diggs, I find Trevon Diggs does a tremendous job covering those big physical wide receivers. And even if he gets burned a couple of times, he just plays wide receiver out there as a corner. He's a former wide receiver, which makes sense why he plays wide receiver as a corner. And it looked like on 2 occasions, at least in that first half, where it looked like Kenny Golladay or Daniel Jones was throwing to Trevon Diggs as his receiver instead of Kenny Golladay. And that Kenny Golladay was having to play defensive back instead of receiver. But then finally, when Mike Glennon dialed up the deep ball to who was it there? I think it was CJ Board. Yeah, CJ Board, Trevon Diggs, as usual. And they described it on the broadcast. Troy Aikman described it on the broadcast that Deion Sanders would do the same thing, where he peeled off a little bit, made it look like CJ Board was open, but Trevon Diggs knew that he had the closing speed to catch up and make the play on the ball. So I wouldn't say that. If you compare it to Byron Jones in his time as a Cowboy would never get any interceptions. I think he had like 1 or 2 in his time as a Cowboy from 2015 to 2019. But what he would do well is he would blanket the other team's number 1 receiver when he was playing corner, especially in his all-pro season 2018, and when he had a good year in 2019. Byron Jones would blanket the other team's receiver and give up, let's say, 3 catches for 30 yards to Michael Thomas, or 2 catches for 17 yards to, I don't know, DeAndre Hopkins or whatever. I mean, I know DeAndre Hopkins had that big game in 2018 when the Cowboys played the Texans. But anyway, we digress. Trevon Diggs isn't, containing the other team's best receiver, maybe with the exception of Mike Evans in week 1. But you look at Mike Williams, had a pretty decent game. Keenan Allen had a really good game because it's Keenan Allen. So he's not necessarily shutting down or locking down the other team's best wide receiver. But what he's doing is he is taking the opportunity. He's not giving up huge plays, and he is taking away the football, which is what the Cowboys need with how good their offense is. That's all the Cowboys really, really need. to win football games with how well they're playing offensively right now. Trayvon Diggs is, and then Micah Parsons, of course. Micah Parsons, the Giants, when they got their touchdowns in the second quarter, when finally Devin Booker ran over the top, and then there was the other touchdown, I think I want to say in the third or fourth quarter, they had to they tried running the ball in, and they were just very inefficient running the football. A lot of that had to do with Micah Parsons and how he played, because he was more of I saw him more as a linebacker today, not so much of an edge rusher, but he led the team with 6 solo tackles, 8 total, 3 QB hits, and just he is, again, just a guy. And also you talk about Daniel Jones. Early on in the game, I found the Cowboys defensively did a phenomenal job spying Daniel Jones, who is a guy that can beat you with his legs. But Daniel Jones had 3 rushes for 9 yards, and Mike Glennon had 2 rushes for 2 yards. So the Cowboys, maybe they're surprised a little bit by Sam Darnold last week with his ability to run and extend plays and take the ball in the end zone. But the Cowboys against Jalen Hurts and today against Daniel Jones while he was still in the game, tremendous at containing them. And also, you want to look at how the Giants averaged as a team running the ball, 2.9 yards per carry. So the Cowboys, given how bad they were stopping the run last year, are doing a much better job stopping the run this year. Even though, the Giants had 294 yards passing as a team. Like I said, context. It doesn't matter, because the Cowboys, with the way they're playing offensively and with the way they're not allowing touchdowns, until the game's pretty much won, that's all the Cowboys defense needs to do. And honestly, when you have the offenses the Cowboys have, I am okay with defensively giving up a lot of yards passing and just completely taking out their running game. What is concerning, though, is that the Cowboys, while they got some pressure today, they did not get a sack. Randy Gregory, by the way, I forgot to mention him, I think, in when the Cowboys dominated against the Eagles. Randy Gregory is just, he was forcing Nate Soldier to hold him on every play, or for the Giants to double and triple team him so that he wouldn't get to Daniel Jones or Mike Glennon. Randy Gregory is just, even though he had 2 sacks against Carolina, and that's, I think, all he has on the season, but Randy Gregory is playing phenomenally, especially in the absence of DeMarcus Lawrence. So, again, while his defense has a lot of things to improve on, a lot of things to fix, they do also have much more to build on than at this time last year, because they're still leading the NFL in takeaways with, I believe, 10 now, given with Anthony Brown's pick 6 and with Trayvon Diggs' interception. They have 10 takeaways on the year. And even though, like I said, giving up a lot of passing yards, as long as they keep locking down other teams' running games and keeping other teams out of the end zone and taking away the football, that's all they really need to do. A couple of things I wanted to mention. Micah Parsons has been phenomenal. Like I said, Anthony Brown, besides the pick 6, didn't love the game from Anthony Brown today. But yeah, still, just as a defense, they did what they need to do. One last thing I wanted to mention was Tyler Biadasz. Cowboys at center, again, like I might have mentioned already, but can they do better than Tyler Biadasz at center, whether it's Connor McGovern or Connor Williams, or trading for someone? I don't think this name came to mind this week. I don't think Nick Martin, the brother of Zach Martin, is starting games for the Las Vegas Raiders right now. He didn't play in any of the previous 4 games, but I don't think he's starting games for the Raiders right now at center. So could he be acquired for like a 6th round pick? If Stephon Gilmore could get acquired for a 6th round pick, then Nick Martin could probably get acquired for nothing. And at the very least, create a little bit of competition and options at the center position right now. Because when the Cowboys face guys like Fletcher Cox or Javon Hargrave or Ndamukong Suh and Vita Vea on Tampa, and then in a couple weeks they'll be facing Chris Jones on the Kansas City Chiefs. So when they face big guys in the middle like that, they're gonna need better play from Tyler Biadasz at center, especially in pass blocking. And again, Dak did have to run for his life on a couple of plays, and he did take 2 sacks. But just the Cowboys are going to have to get better play from their center position. That's pretty much it. Anything else I want to mention? Love the way Zeke played. Love the way Pollard played. Love the way Tyron Smith got bullied by Azeez Ojulari on one particular play. But other than that, Tyron Smith and Zach Martin were really good. Terrence Steele really good in run blocking, not as much pass blocking, but really good at run blocking. Great job again by Terrence Steele filling in for La'el Collins, especially considering how bad he was last year. I like Connor Williams' game on the run in run blocking. That was cool to see. Dak had to again avoid a really big sack and throw the ball away when I think it was he had a free runner at him in the second quarter. Diggs should have had like 2 other picks. Quincy Roche almost had an interception in the second quarter. That would have been bad. Ragland blew up a screen on the touchdown drive to Amari Cooper, and James Bradbury almost had an interception. But again, look, the Cowboys overcame all their early game woes and mistakes and just absolutely lay a beating on the New York Giants, putting up 10 points in the third quarter and 17 in the fourth quarter, including the pick 6 by Anthony Brown. And again, love the way Kellen Moore called the game later in the second, third, and fourth quarters, I would say. And just Kadarius Toney punching KZ, whatever. That was like whatever, sucks for him because he had a great game, but whatever, who cares? Cedric Wilson, love Cedric Wilson as a third receiver option, doing more than a fine job filling in for Michael Gallup. And there was a play that on Twitter got some heat at Mike Langer for Anthony Brown getting away with a little bit of pass interference on Kadarius Toney. Usually that would get called pass interference, even though it was Kadarius Toney who fell. I'm surprised they didn't call pass interference on that, but we'll take it. And the Cowboys win, and they're 4-1 on the year, going at New England next year, who needed a miracle to beat the Texans, or it was a close game against the Houston Texans on the road. So hey, still Bill Belichick, but Cowboys are looking pretty good to finish 5-1 before their bye week. But hey, again, on to New England. Nothing's for sure, given especially the way the game started this Sunday. But yeah, how about them Cowboys? It's looking good right now. Really excited for the start of this season. And yeah, thank you for tuning into this Line Guard the Mike postgame show. As usual, give me a big thumbs up on this video if you enjoy my commentary. Subscribe to my channel and give me a big thumbs up, like I said. And thank you so much for tuning into this Cowboys postgame show here on Line Guard the Mike Live. I look forward to you joining next time. Go Cowboys.